Hey, what's going on? My name is Juan, and thanks for checking out my series, Genesis Quick Tips. In this series, we're going to go over building an advanced Genesis child theme from scratch. My plan is to keep these episodes short and sweet, so you can get the information you are looking for and be on your way. So in this first episode, we're going to take a look at starting the theme. This is the very basic setup you need to get the Genesis child theme ready for customizations. So to start the theme, we are going to need two files, a style.css file and a functions.php file. So the style sheet is used to let WordPress know about the theme, and the functions.php file is used to initialize the Genesis framework. All right, so we're going to create a directory, and this is going to be quick tips, right? The name of our theme. And we're going to create two files. We're going to create the style.css file. And the functions.php file. So in a later episode, we are going to actually use Grunt to create this style sheet for us and compile our Sass. In order to get the theme up and going, this will work for us. So in our style.css file, we gotta add a comment. This is basic child theme development. Most of you are probably familiar with this bit at least. We'll have the theme name. We'll do Genesis Quick Tips. Theme URI. Hashtag for now. We'll just do an author and a template, and that would be Genesis. Okay, so very basic. There's a lot more you could add, but for us, we are going to keep it very simple. Okay, so if we go to themes, we have the Genesis Quick Tips. So we go ahead and activate that, and it's not going to look very pretty, but it is working. So as of now, we do have a child theme, but we do not have access to Genesis. So we need to initialize the framework. Now this is done of one of two ways. So the first way is what you will more than likely find in a StudioPress theme, and that is basically starting the engine by including a file, right? So you include once. Make sure this is PHP. We're going to include once. We are going to get template directory. And what this does is it grabs the parent themes directory. So it will grab Genesis. All right, so next we need to go into the lib directory. And finally the init.php file. And what this does is it, like I said, it starts the engine. So if we take a look at that file, all it does is it loads the framework. It adds theme support, defines all the constants, requires all of the files, and if you'd like, you can go ahead and take a look at that in your editor. So that is the first way to initialize the framework, but that is not the way that I usually do it. So what I do is I initialize my own init file, which is going to be a style sheet directory, and I'll create a lib and init file. So we'll collapse that. Create a new file. It's going to be under lib init.php, and we are going to, instead of loading the framework in the functions file, we'll actually hook into it after it has set up. So we will add an action, and we'll hook into Genesis setup. So we want to run at 15 so we can make sure that the Genesis framework is already loaded, and we can go ahead and create that function. So doing it this way, it's a bit more modular. So I like to include, let's leave a quick note, include our init file. Like I said, the functions PHP file, I usually keep very lean. So I usually have about 10 or 20 lines of code. And that is basically just to include the rest of the project. So let me give you a few examples on how we could actually use this, how we actually hook into the Genesis setup function. And we can define some constants, add some theme support, and register some of our widgets. All right, so we can child theme name. We'll do this. Quick tips. Child theme version. 1.0.0. How about that? Okay. And you know, a couple of things that we could do is add theme supports. So as of right now, if we take a look, view page source, there is no responsive meta tag. So there's no viewport. So what we could do is add theme support, responsive viewport. All right, so if we refresh, okay, so we had a typo here, had an underscore. So if we refresh this page, so now that we added the viewport, we could see the viewport here. Let's go ahead and add a few more theme supports. Okay, so we added the viewport. We'll go ahead and we'll add HTML5. We'll add some footer widgets. We'll add 3 of them. If we take a look at that, we'll go to our widgets. We have 3 footer widgets, and we have a secondary sidebar. We could also unregister that here if we wanted to. Sidebar out, and the sidebar is gone. In this file, what I like to do is basically set up my Genesis theme. So in our example here, we define a couple of constants. We added some theme support. A lot of times I will also any custom widgets that we need, right? So we could add some widgets. Create the function that does that. Well, Genesis will register a widget area, pass in an array, ID, we'll keep it very simple for now. We may not use this, we may change this in the future, but just to get the point across, take a look at that. Now we have a new widget area. So like I said, there are 2 ways to do this. You could throw everything in a functions.php file, but I like to keep it a little bit more modular. I'll call my init file, and in my init file, I'll hook into Genesis setup, run at a priority of 15, and we'll start to customize the Genesis framework to our needs. So that'll do it for our very first episode. Leave any thoughts or suggestions in the comments below. Hopefully you find this series a bit interesting, and go ahead and subscribe if you want to follow along as we continue. So thanks for watching.